Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about my treatment group proposal. I chose to do a group therapy for children in foster care, trauma focused. So I'll go ahead and start by giving a brief summary of both my part A and part B of my proposal. Um, the reason why I chose to do trauma focus group therapy for children in the foster care system was because there is a need for it. Um, a lot of the kids, well, research suggests that 40 to 60% of youth in the foster care system suffer from at least one mental health diagnosis. 50% of those children that are removed from their biological homes is due to neglect and abuse. And a lot of the experiences of being removed from the biological home is a cause for trauma. And trauma can later on develop symptoms of PTSD and many other mental illnesses later on. So, definitely, this is a population of people that needs as much support as possible. So, my group will be psychoeducational group therapy. It will be made up of 6 to 8 youth, 14 to 19 years old. It's going to be 5 sessions once a week for 2 hours. So, need within the community. I did a brief search of community support groups for children in foster care within my area. Needless to say, couldn't really find any, at least that specified in trauma and for the specific population that I'm targeting, which are youth in foster care. Foster care kids are underserved. They're an underserved population and they struggle with many adversities. We're talking about trauma, PTSD, mental health challenges, drugs, I mean, you name it. And unresolved trauma can lead to a lot of issues as adults. And I think what's very important to understand is that these kids are going to become the adults of the future. And we want to make sure that we give them all the support that we can now so that we can have productive community members in the future. Um, and of course, the group can lead to a feeling of empowerment within its members. And we want to empower this group of people. So, evidence-based intervention. So, I will be using a psychoeducational group therapy. And a psychoeducational group therapy can help educate and empower the group that is centered around a specific diagnosis or issues. While doing my research, I couldn't find any information on specific evidence-based interventions in a group setting for my specific population, which are my foster youth. All I could find was that psychoeducational group therapy was used to help individuals dealing with specific mental health illnesses. So a lot of these youth suffering from trauma that later on leads to PTSD. I thought, well, great, this would be it would be the best type of evidence-based intervention since we're focusing it on the trauma that the removal from biological parent causes, as well as just other things that happened. So dealing with the trauma specifically for the foster youth. So I thought psychoeducational group therapy would be best and it fit. The purpose of this group is to help the population work through and heal from their trauma. And that is exactly why I chose psychoeducational, because you educate the client on the specific diagnoses and you work through it, and the most important thing is that you find coping skills around it. And many foster kids share that they feel alone in a system that's made to help them. And a group therapy can help them build a connection and relationship that they crave. So, all in all, psychoeducational group therapy would be the best evidence-based intervention. So, for group evaluation, all of the children in the foster care system have a CANS assessment initially when they're placed in the system, as well as several months afterwards, repeatedly throughout their stay in the system. By having a CANS assessment, we have a baseline of the child, and then we can have another CANS assessment towards the end of the 5 sessions to see if there was any positive change. The CANS assessment focuses on emotional, developmental areas of the client's lives. Also, I wanted to go ahead and do a survey, a self-reported questionnaire for all the youth, uh, being open, saying what worked, what didn't work, what could we do best. And lastly, leading a discussion. I believe that the best way to serve this population is by taking them and their opinions into consideration, because they know what they need and what works best for them. So leading a discussion towards the end of the 5 sessions is the best way to get an honest view of, did this group help? What can we do to improve it? What can we change? What can we add? Or what should we leave alone? Lastly, community collaboration. In my area, in the city where I live, which is Tracy, California, towards the Valley of California, there is 2 different foster care agencies just within this city. So there's a high number of foster care homes in the community. So we know that if we have a community, if we have a support group within the community, we are helping the community. We are going to meet the needs of the community because they need the help. By serving this specific population that it's the future, then we are making sure that the community is thriving in the long run and that the future generation is positive community member, are positive community members. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching.